Good evening. If you would all stand, we're going to take our prayer requests to the Lord tonight. First, let's pray for Laura Noggle. She sent a message to Muriel saying, well, she didn't, somebody did on her behalf, that she was at the hospital because she had fallen and that she had a cervical fracture and some kind of an aneurysm and 4 broken ribs. Is that correct? And so she's in bad shape. We need to pray for Laura, that God will work in her body. Do we have any other requests? Okay, so we want to pray for Laura and for Elijah. God, I ask that you would move in Laura's body, that you would heal her quickly, that her ribs would knit back together, that whatever the situation is with her, with this cervical fracture, that you would heal it, that there would be no lingering effects, and that you would take care of this aneurysm, God. Give her quick healing, Lord. Help her with the pain and help her family as they make adjustments. And work in Elijah's body, God, that this medicine would work, that he would not have any more vomiting, that he could just get back to his normal, excited self. God, that he would begin to feel well and be whole. In Jesus' name. We also want to pray for Nick Sr.'s family. I know that we prayed for him some time ago after they announced that he had cancer, and he has passed away. So we need to pray for the Senior family tonight as well. Any other requests? Okay, we'll pray for Nick, or for Brother Senior. Jesus, I ask that you would touch Brother Senior's family, God, as they navigate this time, Lord, that they would be comforted and that they would just feel your peace as they move through the plans and the transitions and the heartbreak, that they would be comforted and have your peace, and that you would use this somehow, even though we can't see any good in this, that you would use this in their lives, Jesus. In Jesus' name, I thank you, Jesus. Okay, we are going to have our salvation. for our service tonight, and then we want to pray for our service on Sunday. Don't forget to pray for the kids' ministry. Pray for the nursery ministry as they minister in these services too. God, I thank you for an opportunity to be here. I am blessed and privileged that I am allowed and able to be a part of this work. I ask you to move in tonight's service, that in classes, that connections will be made, that hearts will be touched, that eyes will be opened to what you have for them, touching our kids' ministry, student ministry, and our adult classes, God, that people would be moved. And on Sunday, I ask for a mighty, powerful move, that you would break down walls, that we would see people filled with the Holy Ghost. We would see people baptized in Jesus' name. I know that you already have plans for these people. I ask you to move in them and move in our service, Jesus. In Jesus' name.
you're worthy. Thank you for your love. How great is he? How great is it that the King of all kings and the Lord of all lords would love us? You may be seated. I have a couple announcements to make. Friday night is the Section 4 and 5 combined youth rally / fellowship event. We will be meeting at the church and leaving by 5:30. If you have any questions, please talk to me. I'm more than happy to give out information. This Sunday is our worship team and our leadership team meetings, which means there will be no Understanding the End Time class. And then next Wednesday is our Kids Candy March. We need each adult to bring a bag of candy so that we can pass it out to our kids. And any candy you don't pass out, you get to eat guilt-free. And that's all my announcements. You may be dismissed to go to your classes.
This is, yes, thank you. So tonight is our prophecy night. And I thought we'd spend the first little bit of this talking about what's going on right before us. Whether it's tied to scriptural prophecy or not, or let me rephrase that, whether it's tied to an identified event in the Word of God or not, it's still fulfilling prophecy. It's still leading up to that. And, you know, sometimes we don't understand the context of it all. So to start with, I've got a little quiz for you. It's not my quiz, of course. I don't know if you've heard of an organization called Prager University. And it's an online social media university where they educate people. And so this is a quiz that we'll see how well we do. This deals with the history of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. We can go ahead and start. Question 1. In 1947, this organization passed a resolution calling for the partition of the land that is now Israel between the Arabs and the Jews. Can everybody read those choices? League of Nations, United Kingdom, the United States Congress. Who passed that resolution?
League of Nations. I'll say League of Nations. United Nations hadn't started.
All right. Let's take a poll. League of Nations. United Kingdom Parliament. United Nations. United States Congress. Some of you didn't vote. That's all right. All right. The answer is... I think he doesn't have a clue. Can we click to the next one? If he clicks, it'll give us the answer.
You got to click an answer, right?
Yeah, click on. There you go.
Oh, it's not right.
The United Nations General Assembly passed a resolution calling for the partitioning of the land, which is now Israel, between two separate states, one Jewish and one Arab. However, Resolution 181 did not declare statehood, as all UN General Assembly resolutions are non-binding recommendations that carry no force of law. Instead, Resolution 181, a former Israeli ambassador to the UN, Dor Gold, stated, provided international legitimacy for the Jewish claim to statehood. All right, there we go. Okay, that's much better. All right, let's move along. We're going to be all day. We got to move faster. Okay, in what year was Israel independent state? And that is correct, 1948. Okay. Next. Immediately after Israel was declared a free state from Britain in 1948, the armies of Egypt, Iraq, Jordan, Syria, and Lebanon invaded Israel and began this war. C is the correct answer. One day after Israel declared a free state, armies of those nations attacked Israel to destroy it. But the little Jewish nation survived. Okay, and we need to, we got seats here. If we get, we got 2 seats right here. We get somebody to move down, and that dad slide down one. There you go, right there, and there's 2 together. Okay, very good. Next. In 1967, dictator of Egypt, Gamal Abdel Nasser, announced his plan to destroy Israel and began mobilizing Egyptian troops and other Arab countries to once again invade the Jewish nation. This led to a war often called the 6-Day War. That is correct. All right. We're not going to read all of that. Let's move on. After losing the 6-Day War against Israel, heads of state of 8 Arab countries joined forces in Khartoum, Sudan, and passed the Khartoum Resolutions. The Khartoum Resolutions clarified that Arab states intended to act according to the 3 no's. Which of the following was included in the 3 no's? No peace, no recognition, and no negotiations. Every single one of them, that's correct. All right, well, 1978, Israel returned to the Sinai Peninsula to Egypt in exchange for a peace treaty, $500 million, prisoners of war, military technology. A it is, a peace treaty, Camp David Accords. If you remember, President Carter brought together Egypt and Israel, and they signed a peace treaty, Camp David Accords, and Israel and Egypt began normalization of relations. Okay, next one. During 2000, Camp David summit brokered by President Bill Clinton, Israel sought a peace deal with the Palestinians, offering the Palestinians control of this territory: the West Bank and Gaza Strip, Golan Heights, Sinai Peninsula, or East Jerusalem. Any takers? A and B's. I think I wasn't sure about this. I think it's A, but let's see. It is A. All right. The West Bank and the Gaza Strip are the big hot spots right now, too. That is the big ones. Okay, let's go on. There's only 10 of them, I think. Which terrorist organization has ruled the Gaza Strip since 2007? Yeah, Hamas. Yes, all right. Next. In contrast to Hamas, whose leader, Ismail, however you pronounce that, was reportedly said, "We love death like our enemies love life." Israel has a history of actively pursuing peace and welcoming Arab countries. As of 2023, what percentage of Israel's population is comprised of Arab citizens? This is a good one. I missed it too. A, B, C, D. Well, D is correct, 21%. All right. Number 10. In 2011, Israel deployed a revolutionary air defense system which can intercept rockets launched by terrorists. What's it called? Iron Dome. Yes, that's right. And I think that's the last one. Okay, that's good. Yeah, you can go ahead and grab a chair and pull it up here. Okay, so that just gives you a history of where Israel came from. And I thought that was a pretty good, just a good overview of Israeli history. How many remember 9/11? If you're in this class, you're old enough to remember 9/11. Do you realize that what happened in Israel is probably 10, what's that?
6 false statements.
That's true. I forgot. We do have some young'uns in here. So normally they're not here. So well, they were just don't remember. How'd he get here if he wasn't born? We lost a little over 3,000 in 9/11. Comparing our population with Israeli population and what they lost in the October 7th attacks, we would have had to lose 40,000 on that day to feel the equivalent of what they felt. just based on statistics and numbers. On September the 11th, it was airplanes. On October 7th, for the Israelis, though, it was thousands of rockets and fighters and gliders. And the amazing thing, retired General Petraeus, who was the director of the CIA under the Obama administration for just about a year and a half, he said that he can't understand how both Israel and American intelligence missed the preparations for this attack. When I read that statement, I thought, oh, where did I read that before? Yeah, 2001. It was 2001. We read, how did we miss it? How did we miss it? You know, and of course, all the excuses were being given then, and now they'll be making excuses for missing it now. But today there was reports that Israel bombed a hospital and killed 500 people. They did not do that. No, I agree. Absolutely. Well, yes, it absolutely was a fabrication. The bomb came from Hamas, or actually came from a different terrorist organization inside Gaza. It misfired. It landed in a parking lot beside the hospital. And I don't know that anybody was killed. Maybe it did not hit, I think what I read, it did not hit the hospital. But world leaders and journalists and activists kept reporting today that the Palestinians, the Israeli airstrike killed 500 Palestinian civilians in a hospital. And that caused riots all over. In Jordan, a mob flooded the streets in the capital of Amman. In Beirut, the capital of Lebanon, protesters surrounded the embassies of the United States and France. In Turkey, mobs of angry Muslim men convened in both the capital and in their largest city, Istanbul, and on and on and on. Mobs all over the nation. Canada's Justin Trudeau, he jumped in. It's not acceptable to hit a hospital, as if Israel did that. Rashida Tlaib, everybody's favorite congresswoman, she said, Israel just bombed the Baptist hospital. She tweeted this. Israel just bombed the Baptist hospital, killing 500 Palestinians, doctors, children, and patients, just like that. POTUS, this is what happens when you refuse to facilitate a ceasefire and help de-escalate. Your war and destruction only approach has opened my eyes. Even President Joe Biden confirmed that the explosion was the misfiring of a Hamas missile, and the explosion was in a car park and does not appear to have demolished any buildings.
So did that congresswoman go back and?
Oh, of course she didn't. You gotta under. Huh?
She's out crying today.
So this is the misinformation. The misinformation is just unreal. Now, Todd Starnes issued a news bulletin today that says that Biden announced $100 million in aid to Gaza while they are still holding American hostages. Now, there's no doubt that humanitarian aid is needed in Gaza, but how, in the name of Sam Hill, are you going to keep Hamas from getting that $100 million? They control Gaza. And you give you funnel $100 million into Gaza, and guess who's going to take it? Hamas is going to take it. How stupid is our government? Well, Now, this is an interesting thing about it. The Wexner Foundation, a philanthropic organization that focuses on cultivating Jewish leadership, owned and operated founded by Lex Wexner, billionaire. He is cutting ties with Harvard because of the university's inadequate response to the Hamas October 7th attack, which killed at least 1,400 people. What happened was a statement signed by a coalition of Harvard students in response to the attack said that Israel's government was entirely responsible for all unfolding violence. And so this billionaire and other billionaires are now cutting ties with Harvard. Wexner Foundation said they're stunned and sickened by Harvard's failure to take a clear and unequivocal stand against Hamas' barbaric murders of civilians in Israel. These organizations on campus are making these statements. Harvard won't come out against them. Harvard won't take a stand. So people are pulling their support of Harvard. And get this is the part I love. The students accused of signing the letter have faced threats and doxing, which is publishing a person's private information on the internet. Billionaire hedge fund manager Bill Ackman wrote on social media last week that he's been asked by a number of CEOs if Harvard would release the names of members of organizations that issued the letter so they could avoid hiring them. I read in another source covering this, some of the CEOs said, we do not want to hire anybody who takes an anti-Semitic stand. And there's a billboard truck that drove around the campus with photos and names of the students that had signed the letter, labeling them of anti-Semites. So just a lot going on. Oh, and by the way, I didn't get I didn't get this one printed out, but I almost forgot about it. In the federal building today, demonstrators charged in past Capitol Police, and I saw pictures. I didn't have time to look at the video, but I saw pictures of inside the federal building. I believe it's the federal building that. I believe it's the building that the House and the Senate was it the what? The Cannon building. They went in there and they charged in, had a protest, and of course, as I'm reading that, I'm thinking, I wonder if these people will be pursued and prosecuted as aggressively as the January 6 people were.
Who did nothing wrong.
Yeah, well, that's right. I mean, if you look at the videos on January 6th, the Capitol Police opened the door and motioned to come in. You know, that is a huge mess. But here we got people doing the same thing, only it's the other side. Let's go to our maps, Randy, if we can. There's some things I want to share with you, just so we. I need that pointer. Is that I forgot to ask for it? Is it back here? Let me grab it. Oh, it's back here? It's back here. Back here in this room? It's back here. Oh, this is a different pointer, but that's fine. This is not the one that Melissa was referring to. Well, this one doesn't work. Yeah, it works. Well, that one doesn't have enough power to get there, Randy. All right, so just wanted to show you an overall look at the area, Asia basically. Here you have Israel way over here Today I also read that our leader of Russia, I'm drawing a blank on his name, Putin. I can picture him. I can't draw it. Putin and China and North Korea and Iran are all huddled together in meetings. Talked about how to support Hamas. Yes, how to. So just I wanted you to see how that fits together. You know that pretty much that covers Asia from north, south, east, and west. This is there's where the conflict is right there. All right, let's go to the next map. All right, this is Israel. Just wanted to show you right now the conflict. The conflict in Israel is the Gaza Strip. That's where Hamas is, and also Hamas has some infiltration in the West Bank, but they actually control the Gaza Strip. Now this is all Israel, you know, and when I think this is less than 6 miles is what I've heard. So Israel, if they would allow military buildup there, if they would allow this West Bank to totally be controlled by a military power, it would be very difficult for them to defend their country. But right now, Gaza Strip. Apparently, as I understand it, when you prior to this conflict, prior to what started on October 7th, when you visited Israel, you could go into the West Bank, in many areas of the West Bank, but nobody visited Gaza. It's such a desperate and horrible place because that's where Hamas is. We were supposed to these names are kind of blurred, but. We were supposed to, Linda and I were supposed to port here in Haifa, and we were supposed to port here in Ashdod. I think that's Ashdod right there, or maybe it's up here. I can't read it. Yeah. We've got to port here and go into Jerusalem, and then port here in Haifa and go up here into Galilee, and that was the original plan, but that got canceled. All right. Give me the next slide. This slide is this is just this. I really didn't. I just wanted to get you the overall picture. The white is the water, and the blue is the land. So somebody got their painting backwards, so it's kind of until you get your brain adjusted to what you're looking at. The blue is the land there. But again, I just want you to see Israel right here, this little piece of land right here, and then Linda and I were right here in Greece. And we left Athens and sailed over here, a couple of ports in Turkey, came down to Cyprus, and about 160 miles from Israel at that point. That's as close as we got. Did see a German warship in Cyprus under the UN flag, but next, give me the next one. This is the amazing slide. This is really what this shows you right now, right here. All of this yellow are the Arab nations of the world. All of those yellow are.
There are no other Arab nations?
This is the Arab nations. This is all the Arab nations of the world. Well, there's a lot of them. Big chunk of Africa, big chunk here in Asia, and looky here. You see that's not that yellow color. That is Israel. That's Israel. All of these nations hate Israel. All of those nations would love for Israel to be gone. And you know the amazing thing about this little piece of land right here? Show me another piece of land that size in the entire world that the world pays that much attention to. Any other nation, any other place, that size of land mass, it would be ignored. But you know why it's not? You know why Israel? Because that's where God said, I'll put my name there. That's where the God of the universe came to this earth and established his ministry and established his church. And, you know, people, there is no other explanation except for the spiritual one, why Israel matters so much. Mic drop. No. It's called a clicker drop. So anyway, now I forgot to get my. Now that's any comments or anything that you want to say or questions. We don't really have enough time to get through the end time lesson now. I knew I had too much material prepared, but
It's kind of small for everybody, but this is kind of the same map with the biblical countries that are now populated by those countries there, like Put and Cush and Persia, Magog, Gomer, Tubal. They're pretty much those same areas if you include Turkey.
mm-hmm.
So this is all called out in the Bible, where they're at right now.
Yes, yeah.
So they're the same as the yellow ones, what you were talking about?
No, just walk that around. Let everybody see that. Just well, we got sound man back there. Fix it, Randy.
Yeah, those are the biblical names of the tribes that are there, and that's what became these Arab nations.
What's that?
Why isn't Iran and Turkey with yellow?
Well, Turkey is not an Arab nation.
Technically.
No. We're talking about this map. And I don't know. I guess according to, I didn't check out the source here. I'm assuming that Iran is not either, but I don't know the answer to that. Yeah, it is Persian. So there is another map that I didn't bring that shows the Arab name of all these nations, and I didn't bring that because I can't read Arabic, and probably you can't either. So I'm assuming that now that you mentioned it, Iran is Persian and it's not a part of the Arab nations. Although it's just like Russia and China, it's evil. It's evil. Yes, you're going to say something.
I was just trying to confirm it here. It's hard to quickly on this, but we have heard a report, or whatever you want to call it, that the word Hamas is actually biblical, and it means, what we heard was like satanic evil. But when I look in online here, it says to do violence and wrong.
Yeah.
But it's used, it mentioned it being used when God sent flood, great flood before. That was one of the words he used.
I had
I'm
not
not
seen.
a scholar on this.
I had not seen that or heard that one. Of course, I'm not a scholar either, but
I really thought that was interesting, that the word Hamas is actually biblical.
yeah.
Or violence.
So October 7th will be you know what, and I should have pointed this out. I meant to point it out when we go through those questions, but it was 50 years earlier when it was on October the 7th, and of course that is it coincides with the Jewish festival. Anybody remember which one it was? I don't remember. But 50 years early, one of their attacks had started on that day 50 years earlier, and yes, that's what it is. Yes, thank you. And and it now here we are 50 years later, and they have this attack on the 7th. Of course, it happened during the Jewish holy days, and the Israeli response was reserved and slow because of those holy days. They defended themselves, but they didn't strike back immediately. But then, of course, they began striking back. But one source I listened to today, they said that they've activated 300,000 troops. But the reserves, it's like bringing the reserves in. They've already got a standing army, of course, but now they've brought in 300,000 reserves. The problem is it takes a few days, weeks, maybe a month to get the reserves up to speed, up ready to go, getting them all equipped. Another problem that this whole scenario faces, that States has given much of its military surplus away to Ukraine. So we don't have the surplus, that we usually have, because the administration is not, they're depleting it, not replacing it, sort of like they're doing everything else, oil reserves and all of that. Who knows? Maybe they'll use. Maybe they can use this to fight recession, right? So get things rolling. Did you shut me off back there? Yes, it did. Another thing that Israel is going to battle is when they go into Gaza and into surrounding areas to do battle. Hamas has built a system of tunnels in the ground. A house, or you build tunnels in the ground, but in the ground they built tunnels, and then they have set these tunnels up with explosive rooms so they can blow. So if soldiers go in after them, they can blow them up and blow the tunnels up and things like that. And so it's going to be a very difficult war once it gets going. And who knows how long it's going to last? It's not going to be a 6-day war because it's already well past 6 days. But it's going to be an ongoing thing. So
Israel almost has no choice but to get rid of Hamas.
right.
Because every time they've quieted things down, Hamas just keeps firing rockets into southern Israel. And there's been no stopping them. They've just been bent on trying to destroy Israel.
Yeah. So one of the things I would challenge you with, and just say that don't believe when you hear NBC, ABC, CBS, CNN, MSNBC, Fox News, any of those people, when they say anything that negative against Israel, and Israel did this, Israel, don't believe them, because most of them lie. They're lying all the time. They're far left-leaning organizations. They don't like Israel. New York Times, Washington Post. They're all anti-Israel. You can't believe them. And we have these riots going on our campuses because our kids have been educated to believe that Israel's the problem. Our kids have been educated to believe that Israel is a bunch of war criminals. It's not the case. Israel has done its dead level best to abide by. Nobody's perfect, but the United States has done its best most of the time. We're not perfect either, but they've done their best to be a proper nation, to abide by the UN regulations on war and all of that, and they're still doing all that. Israel, even after they were bombed on October the 7th, and they flew in and they dropped leaflets in Gaza, telling the people to bring Israel back up on the screen, if you would, Randy. Israel, the Israel one. I think it's the second slide. Yeah. So telling them there to go on the Gaza Strip. There, you see it there. I guess you got to turn this around the right way. Right there. They dropped leaflets in telling the people to go to the south part, move to the south, because we're coming into the north. Told them where they were coming. Told them where the bombs were going to be dropped. Get out of there. They have begged the people to get out of the country, because they've said they're intending, like Paul said, they're intending to destroy and annihilate Hamas, and they've asked the people to move and they're trying to do their best to limit civilian casualties. You're not going to hear that on the news, but it's the truth. The United States has been a friend of Israel. Joe Biden has visited Israel today, I believe it was, and he pledged our undivided support to Israel again, and we just hope he sticks with it. We do know one thing: the Bible talks about the eagle's wings protecting Israel. I mean, and that's the United States, and even in the end time, even in the Great Tribulation. Thank you. That we're going to be there for Israel, and we're going to be there for Israel now. And shifting gears to the Pacific side, I also read today that 180 times in the last 2 years, the Chinese Air Force has aggressively and unprofessionally intercepted our fighter jets in the bring the map of Asia back up. The next map. I'm sorry, the next one. No, maybe it's the first one I wanted. No, that's fine. Yes. So we, of course, South Korea is an ally of ours, and we position military Navy battalions here, and aircraft carriers, and help me out, Paul. You were a Navy man, probably warships and.
Every carrier has a destroyer group with usually 7 ships to help protect the aircraft carrier. So if they say there's 2 or 3 aircraft carriers there's another 21 ships.
Yeah. Well, we've got two. Where are we at here? Here we go, over here. We had one aircraft carrier and it's accompanying, what do they call the whole group? They had, yeah, anyway. Yeah, they, we had one over here, and then we have another one coming in, but we keep them over here too, obviously, for South Korea, to assist South Korea, and we operate all kinds of military operations out here in international waters. And China has 180 times in the last 2 years has intercepted, and by that I mean they have, the article, I assumed as I read the article, what it meant was they have, they have got in the airspace, or got in the way of our planes, and of course the problem is this causes accidents. This causes people to be killed accidentally. And then it also said that and in the last 2 years they've done it 180 times in the U.S. and to our allies, U.S. and all of our allies, has been at least 300 incidents where China has interfered with the operations of the fighter pilots. China's begging for war. China is that they want somebody to give them a reason to strike.
One of the news clips that Hermie and I saw today, one of the Chinese fighters came within 16 feet of somebody else's jet. It wasn't an American one. I can't remember whose it was. And there was flares shot from the Chinese fighter jet that basically were supposed to do something to jam or mess up the radar of the other plane. And part of the reason that China is justifying this is they're claiming a lot of those open international waters as their territory.
Yes, yeah, they do, but just because they say it's theirs doesn't mean it's theirs. Right. But you're right. All right. Well, I did have prepared to go into the 7 vials of God's wrath, which are poured out during at the end of the Great Tribulation and during the Battle of Armageddon. We'll do that next month, Lord willing. I don't know if there's anything that will interfere with it. I mean, well, unless we come back with more Israel information. But I found I intended to. This was only like a 36-minute video, so I thought we could squeeze it all in. But I didn't. I should have known better. But anyway, I found a lot of these facts and things interesting today, and thought I would share them with you. So. They're a terrorist group out of Israel, basically. They're in the Gaza Strip, and they have set up camp in Israel. They're Arabs that have come into the Gaza Strip and taken that over, Israel's basically conceded it, and they were elected. They were elected in an election to be the ruling power. And then they turned evil. They don't even treat their people right. They are a terrorist organization, and the other thing is, the other thing is that Paul, you just reminded me, they are a very evil people, and many of the bodies that Israel is recovering of their people, where Hamas has gone in and killed them, and sometimes taken them captive, and there are evidence of torture, even on babies. Even on babies. And any organization that would torture a child or a baby, they need to be gone from the face of the earth. So.
Last week they said, the gentleman that was talking about said he couldn't look at the picture, but he read that a woman had given birth and the umbilical cord was still attached, and they killed both the mother and the baby.
Yeah. So, Evil people, yes. But they were actually elected. They came in and they were a political force in Gaza, and they were actually elected by the people. And then, you know, they've turned to terrorism.
And the irony of this is that Israel gave up Gaza for peace.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, that was a peace agreement.
How many times has Israel bombed anywhere else? Have they shot anywhere else other than?
They've fired into Lebanon, yeah. There's some skirmishes going on between Lebanon and Israel. The Hezbollah, which is in Lebanon, has been actively shooting out the cameras on the poles in Israel
Mm-hmm.
so that they can't watch their positions where they're at.
Yeah.
So there's been a little bit of firing back and forth, but it's not been big yet.
Was it Hezbollah that also fired from Syria? Did you hear about that, or does that ring a bell? I thought I read something about that, but so there's been a little bit of that. That's not been the major conflict, but yes, Lebanon, maybe Syria. I read something about that. So, all right. Anything else? No, we weren't close enough. I was hoping we would, but we didn't. I was looking, though. I didn't see any.
He had his binoculars.
So, I told.
Are you allowed to go anywhere on the ship?
Yeah. Well, I mean, except the restricted areas. You know, I couldn't go up in the bridge where the captain, you know, was operating the ship. No, you know. I think they gave tours of that at certain times. I didn't. I never even made it up there. But yeah, we could go throughout the ship, you know. Except for the engine room, places like that, you didn't get to go in there. But you know. Yeah. So. My wife's sister is kind of melodramatic, and she started calling our kids, and wanted to know, saying we were in danger, and we were gonna, you know, we were going. This is before this was for. See, I was in October 7th was, what was that? Friday, right? It was Friday. So Saturday. It was a Saturday. Okay, so it's the 6th though is when it started. Nothing. Yeah. So it was Friday, and we just got into Greece Thursday morning, and as this began to unfold, you know, we were still hopeful that that they would all blow over and we'd get into Israel, and my wife's sister began to, you know, reach out to our kids and, you know, drive them nuts, and one thought we was going to be stranded in Israel. And anyway, the bottom line is, she posted on Facebook something to the effect that, well, long before anything had been canceled, that she'd heard that it was that we weren't going to Israel. We were on our way home. It's like, well, we're not even on the ship yet, you know. We can't be, you know. But I said to the kids, I said, no, we're going to Israel, and when we get to Israel, they're going to hand us our guns, and we're getting off the ship, and we're going in. Well, needless to say, that didn't happen either. But so, yes, Dave Robbins was in Israel. They did, and did they finally get out?
Yes.
They.
I think he was home Sunday.
Yeah, because Saturday I heard they were leaving. So yeah, they.
Posted a video from there. Did you see that?
Yeah. Well, you know what? I mean, for him, for him, I mean, my word, if end time ministry, if this is your life, this is what you live for, and this is what your ministry is, man, being in Israel at that time was wonderful. I bet his camera was full of footage and all kinds of information, you know, all kinds of pictures. So,
Front lines, right?
yeah. So, all right. Well, thank you for being here, and I'm glad to be home and glad to see all of you again. So, and we were never in any danger. Of course, you know, Norwegian Cruise Lines is not going to take, you know, anybody. You know, they're not going to take the liability of getting anybody, liability of having anybody get close to danger, of course. So, all right, God bless you.